caution. You are about to enter the no-spin zone. The factor begins right now. It is a basic secular progressive position that undocumented foreigners should have the full rights of Americans when they come here illegally, and that barriers to stop them from coming are terrible. The hidden agenda here is that open borders will allow a demographic shift in this country that will eventually bring power to the progressives, who embrace massive entitlements by the government. Seems to be a growing problem with female pedophile teachers. Something very important happened today. Congress passed a terror war bill that pretty much gives President Bush and the military total authority to deal with captured terrorist suspects. The only downside for the president is that interrogation methods like waterboarding are no longer allowed. However, under the president's order, the CIA can make terror suspects uncomfortable, something the far left didn't want. Here's where the culture war kicks in. The secular progressive movement, dominated by far-left individuals like George Soros and Nancy Pelosi, continue to put forth that the USA is a flawed country, that if only we'd become good, terrorism would subside. Anyone attacking Mr. Wallace is dishonest and knows nothing about journalism. Now, we expect smears from the fanatical far-left individuals in a case like this. Predictably, political partisans like Howard Dean, James Carville, and Paul Begala attack Fox News and Mr. Wallace, as did some of our competitors who get crushed nightly by this network. By the way, Carville and Begala, they're going to be here tomorrow night. Hide the children. You're all right, Carville. Now, look, you've been running around hotshotting this Fox News, and you're empowered or you're thrilled or whatever you are. I don't know what you are. We're fair to Bill Clinton here. Wallace worked for ABC for 25 years. He didn't turn into a werewolf when he was hired over here, okay? You want to pick on somebody, pick on me or pick on Hannity, but not Chris Wallace, okay? This is ridiculous. It were legitimate questions. Right. Wallace grills Rumsfeld. I grilled Rumsfeld. And come on.
First of all, I don't think that Fox has been fair to Bill Clinton. I like you, I like Chris Wallace, I like Sean Hannity. I don't think in any way, shape, or form...
Give me one example of unfairness.
You know, again, just like Bill Clinton said, you never asked... How many times was Rice on that show?
23.
How many times was Rumsfeld on that show?
9.
What are you talking about?
On Chris Wallace's show.
Chris Wallace's show.
Chris Wallace. But this is what the president said.
Matters?
Is that where they're a great website. Do you ever read them?
They're completely documented.
Hired guns.
They, actually, that didn't. It came from Center for American Progress.
These far-left websites, you guys take this information off. These are paid to smear people they disagree with. Do your own research. You can't sit there and think Chris Wallace is in the tank.
I didn't say he was in the tank.
I mean, this is ridiculous.
That's your turn.
Alan Colmes adores Bill Clinton and would be his valet. Chef Smith never says anything politically one way or the other, and Brit Hume is a conservative-leaning guy, but has gone out of his way, all right, to be fair to Bill Clinton. And at ABC, Brit Hume received a great accolade from Bill Clinton, as you know. Now, these are the main players. So if you're going to put it on me, fine.
John Gibson?
Brit is a conservative, and I will say when he covered the Clinton White House, he was fair.
And he's not fair anymore?
No.
Oh,
I don't
give me an example.
I don't have one top of mind.
You don't have an example.
Look at his lineup. Look at his lineup. He has moderates and conservatives. There's no liberals sitting there. His all-star panel. Very smart people.
CC, whatever her name from the Washington Post, Myra Elias, they're liberal people.
It's lively and it's fun and it's interesting. It's highly watchable, but it's conservative.
I don't believe it.
Come out of the closet. Y'all are conservative.
That is bull.
Just admit it.
I'm not going to admit it because it's wrong. Okay? You guys need to get away from the far-left websites and open your eyes. If you go down the guest list, the 24/7 guest list, which we'll provide for you, it's 50-50. On this program, it's more left than right. It's more left than right on this program.
It may be. My hat is off to you for example, even having us on.
You have us on.
You're welcome anytime.
I appreciate that.
But look. You guys are now becoming propagandists, and I'm looking out for you. Don't do that.
You know, Last word, we are propagandists. We think that Fox News is a right-leaning anti-Clinton network. We thought that before we came here. We're going to think it.
Gentlemen, thanks very much.
We appreciate it.
All right? You're both going to be beaten to a pulp. See, Clinton wouldn't have done that to ABC or NBC or CBS. Never would have done it. But with Fox, because we beat him up pretty good in the Lewinsky matter, all right? And, you know, the left-wingers are feeding him, Fox hates you, Fox hates you, Fox hates you. You know, he doesn't watch, but that's what they tell him. It just all spilled out, almost like a little kid. The left-wing smear blogs are saying, he called Hillary Clinton Satan.
He meant nothing by it?
No.
You don't think it was meant to be an insult? Or
Not at all. I think it was a statement of fact. I think it was a straight statement of fact. The smear O'Reilly machine cranked up last week because my book, Culture Warrior, was set to be released. Displays were pretty pathetic. The usual blather, O'Reilly lies, that kind of thing. Bush lies, O'Reilly lies. Pass the Kool-Aid. Just believe me when I tell you, because I know these things. It has mobilized Democrats and left-wingers to say, you know, our guy wanted to kill him. You know, that's why I ran that clip on it. How many times did they say wanted to kill him? 18? Our guy did. We're not pansies. We're going to stand up, and we're as tough as the Republicans. To be fair, all right, the Democratic Party is on the wrong side of the toughness on terror issue. Look at coerced interrogation. Look at the NSA situation. Every terror thing, it's in the news, all right? And we have a poll, you know, asking only 4% of our people, about 80,000 of them want Geneva Convention applied to terrorists. Democratic parties all over the Geneva Convention. Every issue that comes down, they're perceived to be soft on terror. So maybe Clinton was saying, hey, you got to kill him. Let's go. But they didn't want bomb throwers like you going in there and saying something about religion. They want guys who say it's good to have football in New Orleans. Well, okay. And I believe you. I mean, that's the way they run network news operations. It's by committee.
It's like the Bush administration. Let's not say we did.
Okay. How many anti-Bush stuff do you want to take? You got one. You want what? 6 or 7 more? Okay, now.
I don't know.
I'm going to give you
Bill Maher. If you ask
Maher.
me a question, it'll come up.
Yeah, I'm shocked. So Mother Teresa is a psychotic. That's what I'm extrapolating
right, Bill.
here.
Load the issue with Mother Teresa.
Oh, well,
no, I would never say
I believe she was a religious person. I believe that Catholic charities are in every country in the world, healing the sick and working with the poor.
Can I answer your question?
Sure.
Can I?
Absolutely.
Okay. There's nothing Mother Teresa or charities are doing that they couldn't do without the silliness of religion attached to it. There's no reason why you can't be...
They do it because Christianity says, love your brother, help the poor. This is a philosophy.
And that's a...
Isn't that great?
And that's a one...
Tonight, as a parent listening to Bill Maher, there is a huge gulf between secular progressives like him and traditionalists like, say, Laura Ingraham, the radio talk show star, and she joins us now from Washington. You know, we talked about on your radio program yesterday, I was on your program, and we talked about my book, Culture Warrior, the struggle between Bill Maher, and he's a secular progressive guy, and traditionalists like you and me. And I'm wondering, is there ever going to be a time in America where we can come together here because we're so far apart?
Well, first of all, don't you know that in the Bible, Bill, it says, in the beginning, God created the Playboy Mansion, okay? So, at Playboy Mansion, you know, marijuana, all these things that seem to occupy a lot of Bill Maher's time.
Today marks the release of my 4th adult nonfiction book, Culture Warrior. It is by far the most intense book I've written. In fact, it's downright fierce. The book investigates the battle between traditionalists like me, who believe the USA is fundamentally a noble nation, and the secular progressives, SPs, who believe America is flawed and needs drastic change. There is bitter opposition to the photo IDs from the far left. Even though the bill would require states to provide free ID cards to the poor, far left still doesn't want the law. Why? Well, some believe the far left wants illegal aliens to be able to vote. Others say election chaos favors the Democrats. We have all hell breaking loose in Washington. Number 1, tough law has been passed to deal with captured terrorists. Number 2, new book by reporter Bob Woodward says the Bush administration is in chaos over Iraq. Number 3, a U.S. intelligence report says terrorism is getting worse. Here to sort it all out from Washington, Fox News political analyst Newt Gingrich. You're the only guy we could go to on all of these issues. Today, it is all coming from the left. All the humor, all the late-night guys are left. And I'm wondering whether there's just more to make fun of on the right? Is that there's just more, like Nixon?
Sock it to me?
It's a lot easier to make fun of Nixon than it is to make fun of Carter, for example.
Yeah, Carter was kind of bland, but Bush is a good target. And Bush gets a great deal of it.
You bet. They hate him. There's no question about it.
Just terrible. Sock it to me?